Level Up Your Classroom Creativity with Canva. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Paul Cotter. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at Stukent, and I'm so happy that I get to host today's webinar. As we begin, I want to encourage all of you to use the chat function on the right-hand side of your screen. Go ahead and start out by entering in and telling us where you're watching from today. Tell us which school you teach at. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions throughout today's event, go ahead and type them into the chat. We'll be answering questions throughout the event, and we will also do a live Q&A at the end. So enter any of that stuff in, and this goes without saying, but please be kind and respectful in your comments today. So welcome Lori from Oklahoma. Let's see, Michael from Hueytown Middle School in Alabama. Susan, oh, sorry, it's clicking so fast. Dee from North Carolina. Welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're happy to have you here. Now, if you can't stick around for the entire presentation, don't worry. We'll be sending out a recording to everyone who registered for today's event. Now, as a special thank you to all of you for joining us, we're excited to offer each one of you a free trial of Stukent CTE. Now, click below to see how Stukent CTE can connect your class to a full learning experience, complete with standards-based courseware, Simternships, certification prep material, and industry-approved certifications. So take advantage of this opportunity right now. Click and see how Stukent CTE can help you elevate your learning and the future of your classroom. Now, while you're taking a second to request your free trial, I want to introduce and welcome to the stage Janice Wintermeyer. Janice has spent 15 years in the classroom as an ELA teacher and an instructional coach for technology. She has spent the past 4 years as a Canva learning consultant and has the pleasure of sharing how to use Canva in the classroom with teachers all over the world. She is passionate about helping students become creators and showing teachers how Canva can save them time and enhance what they are already doing in the classroom. Janice, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here and share all of the fun stuff from Canva with all these amazing teachers in the chat. Love seeing all the different states and where everyone's from.
Great. Well, we're excited to have you with us once again. I'm going to hop off stage and turn the time over to you. When you're finished, I'll hop on again and we'll do the live Q&A.
Amazing. Sounds great. I'm so excited. If you are joining us and you are in the that was me. That was the wrong button. That was my fault. As I get set up and get my screen shared, if you are joining us in the chat and you are able to log into Canva, I would recommend logging in so you can follow along with us today. If you don't have a Canva account, we will talk about how you can get one in just a quick minute as well. But if you are able to log in and want to follow along, that would be fantastic. We're going to talk a little bit today about ways you can level up your classroom creativity with Canva, especially focusing on some of our newest features that we've recently launched. So I know I already got kind of an introduction. My name is Janice. I'm a Canva learning consultant. My main role is professional development. So I have a really fun job. I get to work with teachers all over the world to talk about Canva in the classroom. So I'm excited to share all of these great features and tools with you today. Really quickly, before we get started, I always want to make sure everybody knows how to get into Canva if you are not aware. For those who don't know, or maybe who are new, Canva is 100% free. So for any teacher in any K-12 system, Canva is free. So if you do not have a Canva account yet, you can go to canva.com/education. Go to that teachers button, choose get verified, use your school credentials, and it should log you in to a Canva education account. One other quick note is that we do have district-wide accounts, which I highly recommend. They are still free. Nothing changes. Nobody loses any work if they've already got an account, but it does bring all of your teachers and students into the same space. It's a little more safe and secure than the individual accounts, and it's connected to your SSO, so you can log in super seamlessly and easily. It's really quick and easy to set up, and you can click on that schools button on the Canva education page to learn more about that as well. So I always want to make sure everybody knows how to find Canva. If you don't already have Canva, how to get logged in and things like that. So we are going to hop right into Canva on that note. So I'm just going to hop right out and hop right into Canva. Like I said, today we're going to take a look at 3 of our kind of newer tools in Canva, a little bit of our AI focus as well. Today we're going to take a look at Canva Code, Canva's magic activities, and then if we have some time, we'll squeeze in a little bit of Canva spreadsheets as well. So to get us started, we are going to navigate over to Canva's homepage. On Canva's homepage, it will look something similar to mine. It won't be exact, but should be pretty close. As well, a couple quick things as you are logging in is you may have noticed our interface in our main screen has changed a little bit. Everything is still there for you. We've just moved a few things around, so don't worry about that. One thing that we're going to start with is Canva's newest tool, and that is Magic Activities. So I'm really excited about these. I think these have so many great capabilities. They are kind of still in beta and in new form. So you get a little early sneak preview. We haven't fully launched them yet, but I do think there's some really exciting things, and they're only going to get better. And so on the left-hand side from Canva's homepage, there is a classwork tab. These tabs on this left-hand side of your screen may be in a different order, and that's totally okay. Sometimes they're in different orders depending on if they've been rearranged. But somewhere over here on that homepage, if you might have to scroll down, you should see a tab that says classwork. When you click on classwork, at the top, there is a Magic Activities tab. So under classwork, under Magic Activities, you might see, not what I see, you might see a screen that has a little checkbox that says sign up or try it now. I can't remember what it says. You might have to check that to opt yourself in and try it out. Because again, it is still kind of in its early stages, but it is available to everyone. So I wanted to highlight it today because I think as we get going and as it becomes more readily available, it's going to be a really great tool for teachers. You just get an early look at it before we fully announce it. So again, classwork and Magic Activities. If you see a checkbox here that says like sign up, check the little checkbox, click that purple sign up or whatever the purple button says, all the purple buttons until you get back to a screen that looks like mine. So this is where we're going to type in and create our student-led activities, and AI is going to help us with that. So what I love about this is it looks just like an AI prompt box, but you don't have to go into super deep detail. You can be a little bit more general with it and just describe, it's as it says in the box, briefly describe the topic your student will work on. So what are you wanting them to learn about or work on? So I'm going to say maybe I want my students to learn about, I don't know, we'll say the periodic table of elements. We'll just go really simple. Again, could be really, really easy. It could be a little more specific. You could put in a standard. You can put in a learning objective, a topic, broad, specific, again, up to you. I'm just going to throw in the periodic table for fun. Then you're going to choose these 3 options. So you're going to choose your grade level. What you will notice is that the band is K4 at the low end. We are slowly building our ability to create things. So those are, it's again, you'll see it says it's in beta. It's still pretty new. So if you're in that lower primary, you can pick that band. You may have to adjust some language to fit your specific grade level. That will continue to improve and change. I'm going to go ahead and pick 8th grade. I picked my subject area as well. What I really love about this is, yes, we have science, which I could pick, but we also, as you scroll, we have biology, chemistry. We have more broken down subjects as well. So instead of just, history or social studies, it's geography. Some of these specific things, we also have our language acquisition, social emotional learning, all of these options, technology in there. So it's a little bit more than just our basic subjects, but I'm going to go ahead and pick science for this one. And then I'm going to choose my learning purpose. And these are kind of our level of blooms, right? So do I just want my students to understand? Do I want them to apply, analyze, evaluate, or create? I'm going to go ahead and choose create. And then I'm going to choose that purple arrow, and it's going to generate my activities. Canva Magic Activities comes in two forms. They come in either whiteboards or Canva documents. We'll see what this one gives me. My guess is it's going to give me primarily whiteboards, which it did. Usually the higher levels tend to be more whiteboards. So this one is creating an infographic, creating a podcast, visualize a modern element group. So what I can do is either a couple things. I can check 1, 2, or all 3 that I want to generate. I'm going to go ahead for the sake of time and just click on 1, but I could generate all 3 just to preview and decide which one I want to use. I can also go back and edit and modify here. I'm going to go ahead and click that purple generate, and it's going to generate me that activity. So it's going to create it for me. You'll notice I have a few others that I've recently created sitting in here as well. It is going to save that activity to your projects tab as well in a folder. So it's saving it to your projects. If you're not seeing classwork on the left-hand side, 1, you might not be in an education account. That could possibly be why. Or 2, sometimes you do have to scroll down in this toolbar. Sometimes, depending on your screen resolution, it's kind of hidden underneath. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom, scroll all the way down and it's still not there, it could be the type of account that you're in. But we're going to give it just another quick minute and it is going to generate. And then I can go in and I can preview it, adjust it, edit and modify, get it to where I want to use it with my students. And then it is meant to be a student-led activity where they can work themselves through it. So this one's taking a little bit longer than normal. We are launching a bunch of new updates in October. So Canva's been running a little bit slower than normal today as we continue to build on those. But it is going to think and it's going to create that for me. There we go. So now I can open it. Again, if I had generated more than one, it would show me any of the ones that I had generated. When I click on it, it is going to open and preview that for me. So you'll notice it is a full activity here. So what I love about these as well is this one's a Canva whiteboard, which is a little more infinite space. There is an entire section at the top that is like a teacher guide. So what's great about this is it will show us excuse me, the hiccups, kind of what I need to do, how I can modify. I would definitely get rid of that before I gave it to my students, obviously, but it is there for you as a teacher to kind of know what to do. Excuse me. So as we go through, we have our goals here, our recall, we have some research and connection activities. And then you're going to take those findings and either generate, this one gave us both, either a podcast or an infographic with the findings. So it gave us some prompts for research, prompts for activities, and then something to create. So again, I chose the highest level. I chose that create piece. And so we're creating in Canva. You can choose any level of those blooms to kind of use there as well. And so this is saving. You could also take each of these pieces and copy and paste them and break them down into presentation slides or use them separately as you want. It's all yours to edit and modify. You can then assign this directly in Canva, or if you have an LMS that you're already using, like Canvas, Google Classroom, Schoology, you can assign it through there as well. So again, from that home page, I just went to that classwork tab, magic activities. I typed in what my students are working on. I chose each of those pieces, and then I generated either 1, 2, or all 3. Let me give you just a quick, that one is also not the one I thought. One of these also has, this one also has a Canva document. So the one I just showed was a Canva whiteboard. I just want to quickly preview what it looks like if it generates a document, which I also really like. Again, there's tips up here at the top that you would get rid of before you assigned it. And then as we go through, this one's about animal classification. There's some teacher tips. Obviously, we would check things, redo any directions that we might need. And then there's a place to organize and create a little bit in here as well as reflect on your answers. So lots of great ways to easily create student-led activities and let Canva and AI help you do that. So that is magic activities. Again, it's still brand new. So if any time you create a magic activity and you are opening it and you get a little pop-up that asks for feedback, give us feedback. We're continually improving this. I've seen it change a ton since it's been released in June. So we're definitely always getting it better. And we would love to hear that feedback from you on the type of activity that was generated, whether or not it's helpful or useful, those kinds of things. So definitely always give us feedback if you see that as well. So that is the first one I wanted to highlight. That's magic activities. You can use it how it is. So great question in the chat. Do I copy this into a slide and then use it? You can either give them the entire whiteboard and they can work themselves through it, just one step at a time, or you could copy and paste each part of it into different slides and assign it that way. Totally up to you, but all of this is meant to be worked through by students, and you could leave it all in the whiteboard, taking out the teacher tips though. But yeah, you could do it either way. There's lots of different ways to do it. Fantastic. Okay. So again, magic activities, still new, but a great option as you're thinking about different ways to have students demonstrate their understanding. All right, let's shift gears and go and let's talk about Canva Code, which is another AI tool that we just recently launched in June. This one I think really does leverage so many different things, makes it so easy to add that creativity to our classroom by really adding more of that interactivity as well. This is not only great for teachers, but for those districts who are choosing to turn it on, which is quite a few. We're seeing a lot more of this being turned on for students as well. So I'm going to show you just a couple examples of things you can do with Canva Code. Then I'll show you how to create those Canva codes. And then we'll talk a little bit about how to use those codes in your classroom. So I have a little deck here that's got some examples. So these are just some things that I've created using Canva Code as well. So this one is just a little, it looks, it's really simple. It's a Chutes and Ladders style math game. This is one of the first things I've coded. I could probably have done this a little bit better had I done this again, but students can click roll on the dice. Their little person moves. Oh, I got a ladder, so I get to move up to a space. And then this one's all about dividing fractions. I was not a math teacher, and you can tell because I don't know the answers. And so I'm going to hit, I did not get that right. So I can hit continue and the next player could go. So it's just a fun way to visualize. They're just getting, they're just practicing, reviewing fraction division using a little gamification here. Another one that I really like, this is one I've created, again, pretty early on, so I can do this a little differently now, but this is an interactive rubric. So I really didn't feed it that much. I could have given it more information or more specific topics, but I just asked it for a rubric on an essay on westward expansion for my 7th graders. And what is great about this is I can click on 1, 2, 3, and 4 for each topic, and it will give me the exemplar of what it would look like for a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. So it'll show me those exemplars and lets me know kind of students have this a little bit more interactive pieces with the rubric. They can go in, they can check and see kind of where they think they fall or how to improve their own writing, things like that. So I like this idea of interactive rubrics just to make it a little bit more visual for our students. I see really similar things in interactive timelines, interactive infographics, those types of things with the drop downs. Lots of ways to just, again, make things that are usually text heavy a little bit more interactive. This one, also one of the first things that I coded, but I love to share this one because it's really simple for younger learners, but also could be really fun. Again, this one, graphics leave something to be desired. I could have done this a little bit differently, but I can move myself through the maze here. And then when I hit a roadblock, it's going to pop up a question. So this one's around the parts of speech. So I answer my parts of speech question. I got to either get it right or wrong. And then I can keep moving through my maze. So again, really simple ways to have students review, just check for understanding, things like that. So that's another way to use it. And I can see the questions coming in around accounts and SSO. I'm going to pause and talk about those again at the end just to address all of that because it's a little more convoluted. So I do see those questions coming in. I'll go back at the end and talk a little bit about account management, SSO, those kinds of things. So great questions. I will come back to those. Amazing. Canva Code is available even if you're not in an education account. So you should have access to this tool no matter what. Okay. So gamifying, review pieces, all of these are different ways you can use Canva code. It could be something really simple as randomizers if you want a wheel of names, just like a name picker or a group maker, or, flip a coin, different things like that. I've also seen some really cool codes with dice, like story dice, where they can click a thing and it rolls dice and they get a character and a plot and a setting, and they can write a story about that or something fun like that. So lots of little randomizer options. I haven't talked about, hold that thought, and I'll show you how to get to Canva code. I'm just showing you some examples of the things that you can do with code, and then I'll show you how to find it and how to create your codes. A lot of drag and drop, card sorting, activities, these types of things, whether it's sentence stems, cards, word choice, you name it, you can create those drag and drop pieces. That's a really popular one. Another really popular one is those Jeopardy style games. So it can make you the Jeopardy style games that we all make, those types of things. This is another one I see done quite a bit. It's flashcards. So creating more of these interactive flipping flashcards here, things like that. What I also love is Canva code can add some accessibility. So this one has a text to speech button. The voice is a little robotic, but it's there for us. We have that option to have a little bit of text to speech should we need it. So flipping flashcards is another great option as well. A couple more, and then I promise I will get into code. I just like to give you the wide variety of things that you can create, and then we'll talk about how to create. I also love that it can create in multiple parts. So this is a 4-part study guide for the AP World History test. This one has flashcards. It also has a game. Probably could do this one a little bit better. It's not super exciting, but I pop the balloons. It asks me a question, and then I can use this to review. There is a chat where if I was stuck and I didn't know something, I could ask it a question and it would help answer it for me. And then a review quiz. So I do love that you can create in multiple parts as well. Okay, let's pause there and let's talk about how you can create with code. So when you're on Canva's homepage, you are going to go to the Canva AI button up here at the top. Under Canva AI, you're going to see a whole bunch of options. If you had magic activities, you'll also see student activities here, design for me, images, documents, and then you have a tab that says code. When you click on Canva code for me, you describe what you want. Here's the one thing I will say. It is not perfect on the first try. It generally takes at least 3 to 4 versions to kind of get it where you want it, but give it as much as you can, give it as much description as you want in order for it to kind of start to generate. So I'm going to start with interactive flipping flashcards for the planets in the solar system. Make it space themed. Let's see. Make it space themed. Include facts and the distance from the sun. We'll leave it at that. We'll start with that. So I go to Canva AI, I choose code for me, I describe whatever it is that I want it to create for me with as much detail as I can give it. And then I choose the purple button and it's going to think about it for a second, and then it's going to run my code and I'm just going to let it go. So to get to Canva code, again, on that Canva homepage, you're going to, let me open another one now because this one is coding. So from Canva's homepage, you are going to go to Canva AI, Canva code for me. And then you're going to type in your prompt and you're going to click that purple button. Really great question in the chat. Do students have to have access to Canva code to use it? They don't have to be able to create codes to use a code that you have created. And I'll show you why once we get creating, but the answer is no. Not for them to be able to use something that you created. For them to create their own, obviously they need to have access, but yeah. So we're gonna let this run for just another quick minute. It's usually pretty quick, but it does take just a minute to kind of run. You just gotta kind of let it go and let it do its thing. One thing I will also say is this little chat thread over here, your creation thread, is a little smart toolbox over here. So if you can ask it questions, how can I make this more accessible? Sometimes it will prompt you with questions on, do you want XYZ? If you're trying to create a game, how many players do you want? Do you want this or that? Like sometimes it will ask you, you can also ask it and things like that. And so you can definitely create that prompt. So here are my flashcards. They flip. Here is the facts and the distance from the sun. Interesting that they put them all on one page, but I kind of don't mind that. I kind of like it, and things like that. One thing you will also notice, as you might notice on my screen, the graphics are fairly simple. So just know the graphics are typically created in what's called SVG, which are pretty flat, pretty simple graphics. It does really like the word emojis because those are a little bit more public domain type graphics that it can reference. So it doesn't always do the greatest with like images and graphics. It's getting much, much better. And you can always try. So maybe I really like how this looks. So again, this is version 1. I'm going to go back and say, can you get rid of the emoji images and put in real pictures of the planets from, we'll just say real pictures of the planets. Let's see what it gives me. And then we'll generate again. So I generate one, I look at it, I generate again. Ooh, maybe I should have thought about a speech to text button or text to speech button. I can add that in. Again, now it's going to generate and it's going to run and edit. So I'm just going to let it go. Even though you're not seeing that code change, it is still updating. So that's a little bit on how you can do it. You can try asking ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, any of those generative text tools. Canva has Magic Write as well for a good prompt. But it doesn't have to be perfect because, again, it usually takes more than one version. You can modify as many times as you need. So just getting all your ideas out there and then maybe asking it what you might be missing, it can also help you as well. Yeah. So that's really great as well. This one's going to think about it. I will say it may or may not do it. Sometimes it does it on the first try. Sometimes it doesn't. It's a little finicky with pictures. I've gotten it to work. Sometimes it doesn't. But just different ways that you can then modify and adjust as you go. I've seen lots of different versions of classic games like Snake and Plinko and Pinball and all kinds of things just for gamification. I watched a whole basketball shooting game around math problems. So turning math into basketball, right? Really just more engaging and interactive for students. I have seen people create fluency practice games for students who maybe need to practice their reading fluency. Oregon Trail style games, so many different things that I've seen created that you can absolutely use in your classroom. And maybe it's just interactive, like study guides. I've seen just an interactive review sheet where maybe there's not questions or games. It's just information that's shown in a more drop-down visual way. Oh, look at that. It brought in my pictures. So I did have to ask it for pictures. It brought those in from NASA. So that one did work pretty well. Again, doesn't always work, but it worked pretty well. Once I get this where I feel like I'm ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and choose use in a design. When I choose use in a design, I have 4 choices. I highly recommend using one of these 2, website or presentation. Most often presentation is usually the best option for teachers and students as far as ease of use, your access in your network and all of those things. I highly recommend presentation, but you can also dabble in website. It doesn't work quite as great in documents and whiteboards. It's not as easy to share. So I just recommend presentation. So I go to use in a design, I choose presentation. It is going to take that and drop it into a presentation. When I'm in this edit mode in Canva, in order to interact with this code, I just have to double click and then I can test it out, scroll, things like that. And then if I want to share this, I would go to share. The best option you have is this public view link. So if you don't see it in these boxes, you can go to the 3 dots here, choose public view link, and create. This creates a link that does not require a Canva sign-in. Anyone with the link can access that activity. I paste that public view link. I could share that with my students. Anyone with the link could then play or use these flashcards. So again, really quick review, use in a design, presentation is what I highly recommend. It will open it in a tab and add it to a presentation. This is just like adding a photo or a video to Canva. I can resize it and adjust the dimensions. I could also copy this and paste it into 10 Canva designs. It's just an interactive object on my page now. And then share and public view link, and then I can use that. One of the limitations with Canva code currently is that if my students, let's say this had questions attached to it and they were to answer the multiple choice questions, that score does not go anywhere. It doesn't talk to anything. It doesn't save anywhere. It's not going anywhere. The reporting isn't going anywhere yet. Stay tuned. I think we're making some updates to Canva code that hopefully we'll see in the near future. But currently in this moment in time, if you create something that's got a score attached to it, unless the student screenshots the score or shows you their laptop, that score isn't being saved anywhere. So you can add it to a presentation and then assign this through Google Classroom, Canvas, Schoology. Just know that then students, that it still isn't going to save or talk to a grade book in any way like that. So I hope that kind of clarifies some of those pieces. So if I add it to a presentation and I share the public link with my students, they do not have to have access to AI to play it. Because again, it's no longer AI. It's an interactive, just like watching a video or clicking on a photo. It's just an interactive tool embedded into Canva. Yep. So do students have access to AI in general? That's a district decision. Our AI, Canva's stance on AI is that our AI has been is safe and secure for students of all ages. We have no age limitations on any of our AI tools. We have a lot of filters and things in place to keep students safe. However, that is typically a district decision on what parts of AI are being open to students, whether it's image generation, Canva code, our Magic Write. That kind of varies district to district. So I do see a lot of students that have access to Canva code, and a lot more are opening Canva code for students to create their own games, their own learning, their own review pieces, things like that. So that's definitely a school and district decision. Okay, I think I got all of the questions in there. The last little bit about Canva code that I want to make sure I touch on is what happens to my code? Does it save? Those kinds of things. So if you go back to Canva's homepage and you go to Canva AI and you click on Code for Me, over here in the upper corner, there's these little 3 lines. This will always open a panel. Oftentimes it's hidden, but it's there. You can see that these are the codes that I have run. It is not everything. Eventually they will drop off. So the more you code, eventually they'll just start to go down and they'll drop off. So once you get it through your different versions to where you're ready to use it, add it to that presentation, save it there, and then use it from there. You can always go back. These are things I did earlier in the month, and I can see there's 2 versions of this. Could I go back and continue to edit? Yes, until I code too much and it drops off. So just know eventually they will go away. So once you get them where you want to, make sure you use them in a design. Okay, the last little thing I want to talk about code. This is my favorite thing that I've coded, and I love to share it because everybody always thinks it's fun. Is it academic? No, but it's so fun. This is my claw machine. I coded this in Canva code. I was just trying to find a different alternative to a wheel of names. I've seen teachers use a version of this or similar things for, group makers or, class job pickers or student name draw, things like that. But it has a field where I can paste a list of names. It randomizes the names. I can click play. It draws out a little animal and bubble and picks a random name and then takes it out when I'm done, and I can hit continue. So I always like to show this. This is my favorite thing that I've coded, and it is my claw machine. Okay. I think we're doing okay on time. I think we're probably pretty close. That was about 30 minutes. So I will take a peek. I think I got all the questions in the chat. I know the claw machine is is really fun. I will say it took me a good 8 or 9 versions to really get it where I wanted. I had to think about how to ask it for a field of names where I could paste a list of names, which is, this took a while to get that wording right, to randomize the names, to make sure it removes the names once it's drawn, those kinds of things as well. I've seen people create them where there's 2 claws, maybe it's the name and the group number, those kinds of things. But flashing lights, animal emojis, those are some keywords there. Awesome. Amazing. So again, Canva AI on that homepage, you do have lots of options. You have the Canva code, you have student activities, which is magic activities. It'll create Canva designs, images, documents, those kinds of things. But the 2 I really wanted to highlight were code and magic activities, because those are the ones I think that add the creativity most to our classroom. Amazing.
Janice,
okay.
This was awesome, Janice. Thank you. We just put a free resource on the screen if you want to go ahead and download that, and you can get more information on how to use Canva in the classroom. So go ahead and click on that right now. If you have additional questions, you did a great job of answering them, Janice, as you went through. But if anyone has any additional questions, go ahead and type those in the chat right now. I think there are a couple. Yeah, I think the SSO question didn't get addressed. If you want to talk about that.
Sure. And to get a Canva education account, which I know was one of the questions, you just need to go to canva.com/education, choose under teachers where it says get verified, and then use your school credentials, and then it should log you into, it maybe verify you. It might take a little bit, but then it will put you into a Canva education account. So canva.com/education is kind of the key. And then that should drop you in. There was, I know, a question. Let me go back and see if I can find it really quick around data privacy. So the House bill that requires data privacy agreements or schools agreement that says I have to use SSO. So so there are a lot of school districts out there now who are requiring any apps that you're using with students to be embedded in your SSO system. We can connect to any SSO that's out there. Google, Azure, Microsoft, Clever, ClassLink, you name it, we can connect with it. So same website, canva.com/education. Next to where it says teachers get verified, there's a schools button that says I'm interested or learn more. When you go through that process or have someone in your tech department go through that process, takes like 5 minutes to fill out the form. After that couple minutes, you get an email from us. We ask you for information. You send the information. We connect to your SSO. Then it's all safe and secure. I highly recommend SSO accounts. It's still 100% free. If teachers had accounts already, nothing gets lost. You just get wrapped into your school account. It automatically creates accounts for students, which makes it more safe and secure for those data privacy agreements. We have agreements with every state, all of the things. So I know that we're able to be a part of all of those things. We meet all of those requirements, COPPA, FERPA, all the things. So we can absolutely do the SSO if you set it up through that school system. If you have the admin account, that means you have your own individual account as an admin of a school that you created versus the SSO system. So that's different. So just because you have an admin account of a school that you created, individual teachers still, or you as an admin still have to invite students, which is what the SSO prevents. So if you get the SSO set up, then students just get accounts versus you having to invite them. But you can always go to canva.com/education. There's a support, I believe, a support button at the bottom as well, that if a lot of these login and, assigning up questions, those kinds of things, our education support team can help you with those too. Yeah. Is it free for an aquarium? You have to be in a K-12 system. So unless it's part of a K-12. However, if the aquarium community educator, if you're part of a nonprofit, if that aquarium is considered a nonprofit, we do also have free seats for nonprofit. So that could be a different route to go as well. So there's some different pieces there. The claw machine was just in Canva code. It's just a prompt. I asked it for a claw machine, for a prize selector with animal emojis, flashing lights, a field to paste names. I just kind of described what I was looking for and it created it. It did take me probably 8 or 9 tries, but it just went through the descriptive process. Yeah. You shouldn't have to, it depends on if you created an old account with or a new account with, depends on what email address you're using. You may have to sign back out. Or you may have to go through support sometimes if it's just not connecting. I think we've had some issues with that lately. It's really hard to know like what or is not working. So I would definitely recommend, if it's not really working, to contact support and they can definitely help you. Yeah. Amazing.
Well, Janice, these were such fun little examples that you showed us today. Are there any unique things that you've seen, fun things that you've seen schools doing with this?
I definitely think, and again, they're so new and they launched right at the end of summer. So is everyone on a break? So as we're coming back, we're starting to see more of that influx. I do know I have a school or two that is really almost like the old hackathons that we used to do, or Hour of Code. Some of those with Canva Code, like having students create different things or giving them challenges to create. So I've seen a little bit of that as well. I would say with Canva in general, we're seeing a lot of more of that creation side of things. So really digging into creating podcasts, creating videos, some of those challenges for students. I've seen a little bit of that as well, but definitely, I would say with some of the newer tools with code, really getting students in and to really, figure out what it is important to them. What concept are they trying to learn, and showing how that can help pair those things to make studying more fun or to make things more interesting, those types of things.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing this with us today. I'm excited I want to try some of those things out for meetings that I have with my team.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot of fun to do that. So thank you for sharing with us today and taking the time. We appreciate that. I hope that everyone has taken the time to download the resource that we have provided for you. Also, if you're interested in the Stukent CTE free trial, please click on that link also and do that. We want to thank everyone for joining us today, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. We appreciate your support. And once again, we want to thank you, Janice, for being with us today. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks, y'all.